Welcome back to the Zach Knows Podcast. I'm Zach Collins, and we're back for another episode. We're here with some familiar voices. We're going to go 2 weeks in a row to where y'all hear the same three people together. Everybody introduce themselves today.
What's going on, y'all? This is Billy Wilson.
What up, y'all? This is John.
Nice to have my boys back in here today.
Yes, sir.
During the NBA Finals, so y'all know where we're going to start. We was kind of having a conversation off air. Okay, so we go, it looks dim. We're not going to sit here and tell you that it didn't look dim coming out of game 4. What, they was up 3-1? I picked the Warriors to win, so of course I'm over here. I was shaking a little bit. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm not
Shake it in your boots.
I'm not going to lie to you. But coming out of game 4, down 3-1, it looked a little shaky. Then you get the news KD has to come back. He has a little Warrior spirit. Now, if I'm KD, I'm not playing in the game. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to play with a team that told me that they could win without me. I want to see it. No matter the brotherhood you talking, no matter how much you tell me you care about me, previous posts before the game, Klay Thompson or Steph Curry crying after the game of the game 5, that doesn't matter to me. You've been telling me all year that y'all don't need me to win. And that's what it's looked like, right? Ain't that what they said?
Well, Zach, I believe the media pushed that narrative. I don't believe Steph and Klay actually came out there and said. I think that was more of a media thing.
And Draymond. Draymond said it. Steph and Klay not going to say it.
Draymond's going to say that regardless. That's Draymond. His confidence is through the roof. He clearly has the worst offensive game on the team, but his confidence is through the roof.
He just does the most, Billy. That's the glue. That's what they call him, the glue. So how did you feel coming out of game 4 into game 5?
I felt like they hit a wall. It was like, that was a Warriors team that I haven't seen before. It was like they got hit in the mouth. They didn't have any spirit. I think the Raptors took their spirit away.
Because they're playing a game. They playing the type of game that hurts the Warriors.
Are you talking about game 5?
4.
Game 4, okay.
Yeah. Continue,
and
Billy.
I felt like game 4, the Warriors needed KD the most because we seen in the Houston series that when everything's not going the right way, pass the 35 is going to get you a bucket. And at the time, they didn't have anybody that's going to get you a bucket. I mean, freaking Boogie came out with 3-4 turnovers straight. They had to snatch him out. He couldn't even play. They took him out of this game early.
He starts to press a lot.
Iggy can't hit a jump shot. Draymond is hesitant to shoot. They're going to let Draymond shoot. So I felt like it was real evident they needed KD at that moment, and he couldn't save them at the time.
Now move on to game 5.
Now, game 5, I felt like for that first 12 minutes, it was like KD was not hurt at all. He came out cooking, and that's the KD of old. And I really believe KD never gets hurt. He leaves with 35-plus points, and the Warriors win by 15 points. Easy. They didn't have an answer for him at all. When KD plays, it gives Steph and Klay so much more room. It spaces the court out to where they don't need front court scoring. They have their big three. Now, when KD is out, they need the front court scoring. When KD's in, it spaces out. You've seen Klay got cooking early. Steph got cooking early. It was even when KD got hurt, since they spaced the court out so early, Klay and Steph already had a rhythm. That's what we failed to realize. Good shooters have to flow through rhythms, and since they don't have as much space as they used to getting, the rhythm is sometimes off, and KD provided that in game 5.
Now, are you coming back if you KD?
No, I'm not coming back.
You wouldn't come back into the series? Like, you wouldn't play that game 5?
That's a business decision. I would have to get 2 or 3 more opinions rather than a team doctor. There's reported that they did get a second opinion, but if I'm KD, I'm straight Kawhi Leonard. Or I'm straight Le'Veon Bell. I'm not going back out there.
Well, they said Durant went to his own doctors as well as the team doctors, and both of them cleared him to play. Apparently, the Achilles injury was a surprise. It really was his calf. So I don't think there's a way to blame anybody necessarily, but I'm still leaving.
If you look at where he had the ice on his leg, that's not the calf.
No, I know it's not. But it was a calf injury to begin with. He tore that Achilles in that game. If he had tore his Achilles in the previous game, he wouldn't be playing. No, that's what I'm saying. So,
but it was something lower, and I think it was just he might have been shot up to where he'd have been straight. But eventually it gives out because it is a muscle, and you see the way it popped because he generates so much force on that step.
Maybe it was just a strain to start with, and then he pushed it too far, and now it's a tear. And now it's
adrenaline rushing.
Issue.
He doesn't understand, like, hey, I gotta be a little lenient on this leg, and no.
But he started going off.
If I'm telling Zion to sit out, of course I'm going to tell KD I'm not coming back. Now, granted, you could have your opinion about whatever narrative that was being told, but they push him out there. He gets hurt again. His value enormously drops. He probably has to re-sign to them for, the same type of money? or less.
We're talking about a top 10 player of all time. I don't think his value. If his value drops,
Exactly.
it's about 2
But
inches.
who
I
is
don't
the
think
same after a torn Achilles? Nobody.
And he's a
nobody's
little
the
older,
same,
too.
But we're talking about a top 10 player of all
I
time.
get that, Billy, but we're talking about a franchise that wants to continue being in the finals every year. And if it's not conducive for me to give KD what, 35 mil a year and us to keep everybody else, then
So even if KD comes back, say if KD comes back 85%, his 85%
It's definitely better than
98% of the league.
90% of the league. Yes, I get that. But he's not going to be the same defender that he just got into his defensive bag. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be able to.
What superstar besides Kawhi really plays defense?
Clay, are you not counting Clay as a superstar?
I mean, I'm talking about as far as we see players like Steph, we see players like LeBron, we even see players like who else? Russell Westbrook that takes off on defense.
Yeah.
So I mean,
James, I get
won't
you.
take anything away from KD who takes off on defense a little bit.
I get what you're saying. Sticking with contract talks, did y'all see that Kemba Walker told the Charlotte Hornets that he's willing to take less than the max money in order to help them?
Apparently, he thinks they're going to be a winner in the next 3 or 4 years. He has to stay there.
It's the same theme that we had last week. Who wants to be in Charlotte? Who is coming to Charlotte? Michael Jordan been to the GM 10 years, and he drafted Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan is the worst GM in basketball.
And we're gonna re-sign to Charlotte for less money, and we can barely make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
Well, so
Orlando just made the playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
So because he made the All-NBA team, he is up for a max contract.
Yeah.
But he's willing to take less to stay with him, but they can use that money if he takes a little less to sign some other people. And that's kind of the angle I guess he's going at.
There, though.
They're not getting him. So I'm getting every dollar I can get out of them.
He's hoping. I mean, yeah, I would too. But I mean, I guess he's hoping they can bring in a big free agent and maybe turn it around quicker.
Hey, Kimba, do me a favor and go to the Mavericks.
Okay. Now, Anthony Davis is probably the biggest story within free agency. Him and Rich Paul are talking. They told the Celtics that if they trade for Anthony Davis, it's only going to be for 1 year. If you're the Celtics, are you giving up Jason Tatum for 1 year of Anthony Davis? No, I'm not.
I'd think about it.
Why?
I would think about calling their bluff. Only because you've seen one example so far. Another one possibly. Yeah. Paul George stays in OKC when nobody thought he was going to stay in OKC. And now you got Kawhi Leonard with Toronto. If they win a championship, I'm thinking he's going to stay in Toronto. If you can take a flyer on him, get him to come in, yeah, you lose Jason Tatum, but then let's say you go and you actually win something or you get close, he may fall in love with it and stay there. It's Boston.
Let me ask
it's
you
one
this,
of the most storied franchises ever.
You take Jason Tatum out of Boston, I don't believe, with AD, I don't think the roster's good enough to go to
It's the same roster as if that's in New Orleans.
Exactly.
Like, who is good? Okay, we have Kyrie opt out of his contract. We're going to talk about Kyrie next. Kyrie opt out of his deal. I don't think Scary Terry wants to come back to Boston. So that's both guards out. Then you send our best player to New Orleans. So that means it's going to be Boogie. What is going to be Smart, Horford, Hayward. Hayward still got $67 million on his contract. And we was talking about bad contracts with Capella, and Hayward has $67 million, and Hayward came off the bench half of the season. Come on now.
I mean, the reason I call him Michael Jordan.
No, I'm not trading him. I'm not trading for him.
The worst contract is Nicholas Batum. I mean, Michael Jordan gave that man like $35 million a year.
That's definitely.
Almost what Dak's getting.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But no, I'm not trading for AD. And I'm not even if I'm the Lakers, I'm not trading for AD and giving up the majority of my team when I know he's coming to LA.
No. If I'm the Lakers, I am trading for AD.
Why?
I will give up Lonzo. I will give up Lonzo and Brandon Ingram.
I'm not giving up Kuzma.
No, heck no. But I'm giving up Lonzo.
And Kuzma is the missing piece.
I'm giving up Lonzo. I'm giving up Brandon Ingram. I'm giving up that fourth pick. Kuzma, I'm keeping Kuzma. I have to.
If it comes down to New Orleans saying, we'll make the deal, but you have to include Kuzma.
I'm not sending it.
I'm thinking about it, man.
I'm not sending
You get LeBron and AD on the same squad, bro. Like, it's worth it.
At what cost, though?
Hey, man. Sometimes
you got seven players
on.
You got seven players on the team. What cost?
I believe they're going to sign Bradley Beal. That's just me, though.
Where's the money going to come from, Billy?
LeBron going to have to take a pay cut. I mean, he's used to taking.
He's not taking no pay cut.
He's not taking a pay cut.
Take pay cuts. I wouldn't mind seeing him take one now.
You wouldn't mind it. He's not taking it though.
He got enough money. He can take one if he wants to.
But I'm not taking the cut. It's just the fact of I'm not blowing up my franchise for two people. I don't care what you tell me. LeBron's stats are inflated because he only played 40 games. So you can tell me he averaged more than KD, he averaged more than Paul George, he averaged more than Kawhi. Yada, yada. Like, you could tell me that, but he only played 40 games. Then when he came back post his injury, Billy, how did he play after his injury?
He played better than a lot of other players. He just didn't play up to his standard.
Okay, then. So then, therefore, he didn't live up to it. So I'm not going to play with a – how old is LeBron?
I think you give him an
He's
off
33?
season, though. He'll come back. Yeah, he's 33.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
you give LeBron the offseason, he's going to come back the best player in the league.
That's
if
fine.
not second best player in the league.
But, Billy, okay, everybody brings up what LeBron does to franchises, right? And then once he leaves. But we don't factor in the fact that when he leaves the franchise, he's the one that built this team and put them together. So once he leaves those places, they fold because he's the centerpiece of it. How long do you realistically say LeBron has in the league? You'll say 3 to 4 years, correct? At least till his son gets to the league, right? And then he'll play his final season with his son.
And I believe that final season, he's going to be no longer a top 5 player. He's going to be top 10.
He's not going to be a top 5 player in 2 years.
Hey, Zach, hey, watch it.
He's not going to be a top 5 player in 2 years. You can't tell me that.
He offers too much. He's a scoring Draymond. He offers too much to a team.
Oh, my gosh. And he's a liability on defense. So what are you saying?
Superstar is not a liability on defense.
Okay, but you told me his entire career that he's the best player in the league. He plays both ways. He guards all 5 positions. Well, he hasn't done that in the last 4 years until he plays in June. Right or wrong?
He's trying to conserve that, though.
Okay, that's not my problem.
June, now then he locks you up.
That is really when it matters, though.
I get that. But what I'm telling you is I'm not blowing up my franchise for somebody that I know is going to come in a year. What's the point of that? Now, you tell me how dynamic we'll be with Lonzo running the court, and he has AD and LeBron at the same time, and still have.
You don't have a year to waste. I mean, LeBron.
Why
like
don't you?
Said, LeBron's getting
you just told me he had 5 years. Okay, apparently, you don't believe he has that long. Then, if you don't have a year to waste, why would I blow up my franchise for 4 years, and I'm going to sign AD to a long contract?
So he's
going to be there
for 4 years.
You call giving up Lonzo and Brandon Ingram blowing up the franchise.
Okay, but what did you already give up to go there? You already gave up Julius Randle, right?
See, that was stupid. That was magic. Now, I don't agree with that.
Okay, then. So you're just going to continue to give up young pieces, and just for people who are, okay.
AD's still a young piece.
I'm not saying he's not, but what I'm telling you is you built up this core for so long. Now you're just going to throw it away when you can get this person in a year.
So what other free agents are out there that are looking to come to the Lakers this offseason? Clay. Okay, you put Clay, AD, and LeBron on a team. You're talking about the 1 seed.
Yes, but I don't think he's going.
You think he's going to stay in
Oakland? So why we talk about liability so much? Why can't we talk about Lonzo being a liability?
Lonzo is a liability because he can't stay not hurt.
He can't stay not hurt, and he can't make a jump shot or a free throw.
Okay, but you didn't tell me that about Ben Simmons, so don't tell me that about Lonzo.
I always say that about Ben Simmons. This is Ben Simmons offers. Now, Ben Simmons can play defense. He offers a lot more than Lonzo.
Okay, and then obviously sticking with basketball news. Kyrie doesn't opt in Boston, and he switches his management to Billy's guy, to Rock Nation. So does that tell you that he's signing with Brooklyn?
That could be a telltale sign.
Or do you think he sticks to New York? I'm just not going to play with the Knicks.
If he goes to play with Brooklyn, he's not looking to win a championship.
Because it's the same situation as Boston. It's young players, it's talent.
It's probably
but it's nobody else. He doesn't have anybody he can dump the ball off to score. And if he comes, Loden is not staying.
Do we get a LeBron and Kyrie reunion in LA?
They like to think that. I don't think that happens. But that may be why they blow it up, because that makes sense. If you blow up the franchise and then I know that Kyrie is coming, then it makes sense. Then it doesn't look stupid. Then I can actually give up Kuzma because now I have probably
maybe that's the plan.
The third option. But I'm not going.
Bradley Beal's coming too. That's just me.
Why do you think Bradley Beal's coming? Although him and John Wall are done. You talk about blowing up a franchise, that needs to be obliterated.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, y'all might not agree with me. Eventually, they're going to have to blow up Portland.
Yeah.
Portland's not going to get too much further than what they got this year.
But that's fine. In certain markets, Billy, they have to be okay with that. Like the same way we said nobody's going to Charlotte, I don't think anybody wants to go to Portland. I don't think anybody wants to go to Milwaukee. I don't think anybody wants to go to OKC outside of Paul George and Russell Westbrook. Like, it's certain markets where people don't want to go.
I mean, OKC's a small market I believe players can live with.
Okay.
But it's a
college
horrible place to
environment.
live. Like, that's the thing. It's like there's no There's no nightlife. Like, it's not a place that people want to go. They want to be in New York, L.A., Boston, big cities, so they can go out and enjoy it and see that. But those other places, Milwaukee doesn't have no nightlife.
Even Dallas, you can't get nobody to come to Dallas.
Yeah.
And Dallas is what? Top 10, top 20 biggest cities in America?
Yeah, but Dallas is just, Dallas.
I think people are just waiting for Dirk to leave. I think it's going to be a different story now.
You think they want to play with Luka?
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to play with
Who
Luka?
wouldn't? Yeah, I agree.
Especially if Porzingis come back the way we expect him to come back. All they need is one free
If
agent.
he's clear of all charges, because we don't promote whatever he got charged with. We're going to definitely
don't.
stand by that.
Okay, we don't. But I'm saying if he gets clear and he comes back healthy, they get one more free agent. They could be a tier 2 free agent. And they may be looking at an 8th, 7th seed.
But you just sit here and told me being good in the Western Conference, as Portland just was, what, they were the 3rd seed? You told me you're going to have to blow that franchise up in 2-3 years if it doesn't win. It's not going to win. But why would I stop being the 3rd seed in the West, the toughest conference, where the difference between seed 3 and seed 8 is 3 games? Why would I blow that up? That's my same problem with Houston. Why would I blow us up if we're consistently making the playoffs? If our only issue is once we get there, we have trouble. Okay, that's fine. But would you rather sit there? Name me somebody in the draft that you're going to draft better than James Harden. Name me somebody that you're going to draft that's better than C.J. McCollum. It's not happening.
Nobody.
Exactly. So why would I blow that up? The big man that they had hurt, what's his name, Nurkic?
I don't believe you blow the draft. In the NBA, I don't believe you blow the team up with a draft.
No. You blow it up for free agents. But nobody's
Exactly.
going to Portland.
You're right, but
So I'm gonna blow my team up and miss the playoffs and be terrible for the next 10 years.
So you're going to be complacent losing in the second round every year.
Hey. That's how it goes.
If you're talking about blowing up the Lakers, then you're not going to be terrible for the next 10 years if you're blowing it up for Anthony
The
Davis.
Lakers is different though. The Lakers, you can't blow it up. The only reason they allowed for them to be bad the 3 years before LeBron came there is because of the terrible Kobe contract they had. That's it. And they took that on the chin because everybody says he's the greatest Laker that ever put on a uniform.
Let's not forget Mozgov.
But everybody, like, you're gonna put yourself in a predicament for the best person to ever put your uniform on. We're not, like, I don't have a problem with that. You understand what comes with that. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's not an issue. What is an issue is when your quarterback is, I would say, top 15, top 20. Maybe some people even push him to 25. And you get that man $34 million a year.
If we're talking about the same person, he is definitely top 15. Don't ever say top
15?
Okay, I'm going to give you a scenario, Zach.
At least 20.
Do you believe?
Sometimes he go to 20. Sometimes he drops to 20. You can't tell me he doesn't.
Okay, I'll give you that because he's inconsistent.
But
Do
I'm
you
listening.
believe
Go ahead.
Dak Prescott takes the Vikings to the playoffs?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, do you call Kirk Cousins a top 15 quarterback?
Negative.
Okay, then. Okay, we agree on something.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say yes.
No. Kirk Cousins couldn't even go 8-8.
Damn shame, man. Two capable running backs,
I
two
think
capable
Dak-
receivers, and a defense.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Dak gets them to the playoffs. They still ain't winning it.
But I'm not giving
I
Dak
believe Dak can
$34
win
million.
one. I disagree. I believe Dak can win a Super Bowl.
He can win it, Billy, but I'm not giving him $34 million. You know what this means? This means we're not paying
Byron
Zeke.
Jones. You're not paying Byron Jones.
We're not paying Zeke.
They have to pay Zeke. They're
No, they're going to tag Zeke twice, and Zeke is going to leave.
That'd be the dumbest decision they ever made in their life. They're going to have to, I would say, Amari Cooper probably doesn't get the deal that he desires.
He's going to
I
get it
believe
because
Byron Jones
he
walks.
just balled.
Byron Jones walks, and somebody like a missing piece like, like Jalen Smith has to walk. I mean, that's what you go through when you miss a window of opportunity. Why do you think the Seahawks were so good for those 2 or 3 years? They had their quarterback on a rookie contract.
Now they're not going to sign anybody. But that's my biggest thing with the Dak signing is just the amount of money he got. We talked about it last week. They give Dak 28, 29, even 30 like Cousins got. I'm not mad at that. But for you to go above that, one, you see the market rising, especially with the deal Wentz just got. We don't have a problem with that. If it's me, I'm letting him go all the way to the end of this contract. Then we start talking about it. But the fact that you pay him $34 million, that lets me know that you believe he's more important than Zeke, and I don't think he is.
It just shows me that they believe in him as a quarterback, and I don't know if I agree with that decision.
How can you not? That's the question.
How can you not? Because whenever Zeke was out, what was your record?
I mean, you take a lot of best players
No.
off the team. I mean, some people just need more help than others.
Okay, but if you need more help, don't tell me you worth $34 million. Dak take 28. That means Zeke can at least get 10 a year and he's fine. You get what I'm saying? But now they paid Dak this $1 million. Now they're going to have to pay Amari Cooper because until Amari Cooper got there, his stats was okay. Dak, it wasn't like Dak was just throwing the ball to Gallup or the no-name tight ends that y'all have wherever you have Jason Witten coming back to be the savior. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're not talking about a quarterback that was doing good with no weapons. So now he puts his team in more of a bind. Luckily, they already paid the people in front of him, so we don't have to worry about that. Tyron Smith is good for, I think, at least 2 years. That's fine. But it's a huge difference between when you pull up the Eagles roster and I think it's 13 of their 22 starters are locked in for their contract for at least the next 3 to 4 years. They had enough money set aside to where they paid Wentz that money. Y'all are not in the same boat. Like you said, Jalen Smith is going to have to walk, and they're going to choose 55 over Jalen Smith because he's still on his rookie deal. Jalen Smith is about to come up because he got drafted the year after Zeke and him.
No, he got drafted the same year, I believe.
Exactly. So his contract is coming up. Like you said, Byron Jones is coming up.
Byron Jones is going to walk, I believe.
Exactly.
Somebody's going to overpay for Byron Jones.
As they should, because he is somebody who can play corner and safety. You put him in the right position. He's athletic enough to work everything. So it's going to be money well spent. But we're going to stay in the back end. The Jaguars are the stupidest franchise defensively. How are you going to tell Jalen Ramsey that he's not getting his money, and after this deal, you're not renewing it, you're not franchise tagging him, he's out of it? That's dumb.
That's nothing but Tom Coughlin right there. He's stern like that. I believe that's all Tom Coughlin.
But why? What do you get out of being stern in this instance? You're probably
because
losing.
If you look at it, Tom Coughlin, it's my way or the highway. I mean, he damn near got rid of Michael Strahan before Michael Strahan got on board.
So
him and Michael Strahan used to bump heads, and I believe that's the same thing he's doing with Jalen Ramsey.
So are you telling me it's because of his antics, like the way he called out all those quarterbacks, at the beginning of the season last year?
It can't be talent-wise, because talent-wise, he's top 3, top 2 in the league.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Nobody's better than him.
Yeah.
They're all on
I
the
agree.
same level. Nobody's better
I
than
agree.
him.
And his mentality is savage. I
And
love
he's so
it.
tall.
I love it.
He's a freakish athlete. The only person probably more athletic than him is the guy that played with him, and that's Derwin James.
Yeah, Derwin.
But I don't understand. I get it. You struck gold with the guy that used to play in Houston that plays opposite of him.
Boye.
Yes. You struck gold in that. An undrafted guy came in, played for you, played well for you within the defense. You have a good defensive line. But when you have somebody that can knock off the whole side of the field that you don't have to worry about, and you're going to tell him you're not going to pay him, that is absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with
the
you.
Whole defense right there, man.
What do you get out of that? You already lost your safeties in the back end, so now you're going to tell your corner you're not at it. So what is that? You want Nick Foles to win every game by scoring 35 points.
I don't believe they have the weapons on the outside to do that.
They don't. Who would you say their most talented receiver is? Westbrook, you got.
D.D. Westbrook.
Exactly. And even then, he's thin.
And they just signed Terrell Pryor, so what does that show you?
That tells you they're desperate. Now, I love Terrell Pryor, but he's definitely a project still at this point in his career. He's the only person that started at the game. It tells you they don't have the weapons on offense. And for you to take away what you're good at in defense and tell him that you're not going to sign him,
The defense is the star of that team.
Yes.
And then you're going to tell your best defender, hey, we really don't want you.
So
But I will say this. I respect him, Ramsey, because he came out and said no matter what the contract situation looks like, as long as he's in that uniform, he's going to give it everything he's got. He's not holding out. He's not doing that. He wants to play. And I respect that.
Because he's a ball player.
Exactly.
Which only should make you want to pay him more because
That's
this is
what
all
I'm
he wants to
saying.
do. Although I didn't like
But
I didn't like his move to Adidas, but I'm neither here nor there. But staying at cornerback position, Kenny Moore gets paid. Kenny Moore the second. Excuse me. How important is a nickel corner to you in today's NFL?
Very important. Very. And sometimes nickel corner may be more important than the corner of your starting corner, because he has to be able to tackle, he has to be able to play man, he has to be able to play zone, and a lot of times in these defenses nowadays, they're more nickels are used more like linebackers. They blitz a lot too.
Definitely.
Perfect example. Do y'all remember when the Cowboys surprisingly beat the Saints that year or last year?
Yes.
The MVP of that game, people don't know, was Jordan Lewis, because Jordan Lewis was in charge of guarding Alvin Kamara out the backfield. Because a lot of times you watch the Saints, they get that mismatch from linebacker or Alvin Kamara, they go at him all day. Chris Richard made a move, I think it was second quarter, where he put Jordan Lewis in. And that was the move of the game, because they have somebody as athletic as Kamara, and they contained him. And that's why I say a nickel corner is very important in the league. Now, do you pay him top dollar? No, but I believe they're super important.
I feel like the only reason the coach paid him so much money is because they had all the cap space. It was a position where they felt like they had somebody that they could depend on. They had the money. They didn't make any real moves in free agency, so therefore they felt like they had to sign him. Now, as far as for me, like you said, am I paying a nickel corner that much as I'm paying my outside corner? No. But I understand the importance. Like you said, Billy, they have to be able to guard a tight end. They have to be able to guard the inside receiver, where the offense is becoming a lot of those crossing routes in the inside. And they have to be able to set the edge whenever it's a run. It's a lot of things that position does that made it so valuable, especially with this game being spread out the way it is, and an NFL game turning into more like college, but the way the field is set up is still small. So you have to be able to have people on the field that can cover more ground. So that's why they're on the field so much, and these teams are forced to play 5 DBs. And that position is basically becoming a starter. But I don't understand how he gets his money and Jalen Ramsey doesn't. That's crazy to me. And we're talking about a kid. I don't think he was a high draft pick. I think this is his second or third team. Like, we're talking about somebody that's been around the league.
Exactly.
It's just a questionable decision, to say the least. Now, moving along. The Raiders got confirmed for Hard Knocks.
I'm so excited about that.
That's
Oh my goodness. When I heard that, I almost jumped up and down, bro. I cannot wait to watch the Raiders on Hard Knocks.
It's
That's
probably
must-see TV.
Definitely. Especially with the signings of Perfect, Incognito, my boy from Oakland going to be on there. So it's a lot of things to look forward to. John Gruden is going to be John Gruden. The NFL Film's been dropping a lot of his mic'd up lately, where he's just being who he is. You can see why he had a 10-year career on television. Like, it's just something.
Only thing I'm upset about is Beast Mode's gone.
Yes.
That'd have been an extra layer on the cake.
Definitely. But it's definitely something that we're gonna have to keep our eye on. I'm really glad that they chose him and didn't go to Washington. I feel like Washington would have been boring.
It would have been so boring.
The Giants, they don't have Odell.
San Fran.
San Fran would have been a good look. Garoppolo coming back.
Exactly.
Garoppolo always gives you a story. Last year he had the story with the model, so he's not as squeaky clean as
What was it, an Instagram model, or was it a porn star?
Oh, yeah.
Porn star.
That's what I thought. Hang on.
I tried to save you, Garoppolo. So the Raiders is definitely going to be probably the most interesting team, but I still think they probably go 6 and 10.
I believe if they could have did Cleveland twice, they would have.
Yes, they'd have went right back to Cleveland. But the Raiders are going to go 6 and 10. They're in probably the toughest division within the NFL. I don't think. Who would you say is harder, Billy? I don't think it's a division harder than that, because last year, the Chiefs went 13-3 and the Chargers went 12-4.
Yeah, I would say the NFC North is pretty hard too.
NFC North?
Yeah, with Chicago and Green Bay and the Vikings.
Green Bay might make a big turnaround this
and
year.
Detroit always, every 4 years, Detroit comes back. So we'll see how that goes. Those definitely two of the toughest divisions. Aaron Rodgers is always going to keep the Packers relevant, so it's just about seeing it. Now, do you have your list together, John?
I think so.
Okay, we're going to go top 5 receivers, because we got huge contract talks coming up. Now, watch. I already know for sure that one of these receivers is not going to be in any of our top 5s, but he's definitely about to probably break the receiver market. So drop the 5 for us.
Number 5.
At number 5, I have A.J. Green.
I got number 5, A.J. Green as well.
I got Adam Thielen at number 5.
Okay, come on, John. number 4.
At number 4, I got, it hurts me to say this, I got DeAndre Hopkins at number 4.
Why do you want to have my same list, Billy? Get your own brain. Give me DeAndre Hopkins at 4. Come on, John.
All right, man. At number 4, I have Tyreek Hill.
I like that. Although he might not play this upcoming season.
He might not, but I'm talking about just specifically skills. Like I don't condone, the off-field stuff.
Yes.
But skills.
He did get
he's
cleared of
number
all
4.
charges.
He did.
So,
He did.
Congrats on that. I done got plenty of hard weapons in my day, so I know what he was describing. But we don't do the violence towards children and women. But he did get cleared of all charges. Run me that number 3, John.
Number 3.
Number 3, I have Antonio Brown.
What?
Yes, at number 3, I have Antonio Brown.
He's so disrespectful.
It hurts me to say that.
At number 3, give me Julio.
Numbers. See, I can't do that.
Number 3, give me Julio. Who you got, John?
At number 3, I put Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins, number 3.
Such a Houston bias in the studio, ladies and gentlemen.
I would have
Hey,
put him
Hopkins
number 1
put
if
up
I didn't feel
numbers.
like you were going to talk some smack to me for doing that. You know what I'm saying?
One?
No, I'm just messing with you.
Hopkins put up numbers. Look how many
He did.
quarterbacks have
He
been
did.
through, and he's consistent.
Give me the 2, John.
Number 2.
Oh, that's going to hurt. Number 2, give me Odell Beckham.
We knew it. Give me Odell Beckham at 2, John.
All right, number 2, I put Michael Thomas.
Hey, I like your list.
I don't like your list either.
I said I like it.
Oh, my bad. I thought you said you don't.
Definitely gives you something to think about.
Go to 1, please. Please play the 1 before I get the cussing over here.
Number 1.
Number 1, I'm going from the guy straight out of Tuscaloosa, Julio Jones.
He doesn't catch open touchdown passes.
Julio Jones is the most unguardable player in the NFL, and say he's not.
He guards himself when he drops the ball. Number 1 receiver in the league.
You can say that about number 13 in Cleveland.
Number
too. So
1
he's my boy.
receiver in the league is Antonio Brown. He's 5'10", 190 pounds, and it's not a defender in this league that can guard him. He does the same catches as the 6'4" mammoth that you just described at a smaller frame and a higher volume, had more touchdowns, has more yards, is the only one on the same pace as Jerry Rice. It's no
I'll
competition.
say one thing, though. Those stats are good, but they force feed him the ball. And that's what I think. And Oakland is going to be a kind of a rude awakening for him because I don't think John Gruden is going to force feed him the ball like they did in Pittsburgh.
Who's the best player in Oakland?
It's AB by far.
Okay. So why would you not
But
make
do
your
you think he's
best
gonna
player
force
happy?
feed him? And plus, is Derek Carr better than Big Ben?
No, but he can put it in the general vicinity.
Okay, I give you that. But if you think I am going off 1-on-1 last play of the game, I'm throwing it up to Julio Jones. I don't care what
I
nobody
never said
says.
that. I never said you was wrong. I could see the image of him snatching the ball out of Malcolm Butler's hands. That's fine. That's something that'll be forever ingrained in my brain. John still haven't gave us his number 1, but I'm going to continue making my point. But what I'm going to tell you is it doesn't matter if Antonio Brown is single cover,
They
double
win
cover.
that Did you see
triple
their
cover.
Super Bowl run? Who was the best player in the playoffs that Super Bowl run?
It was Julio. But he still didn't have a better run than Larry Fitzgerald. What is you saying?
You're talking about Larry the Legend, though.
Okay. Julio is
Name
more
a
physically
receiver that had
gifted.
a better
He's
run than Larry
faster.
the Legend.
He's stronger than Larry, and Larry still had a better run than him.
Name
And
a
the only
receiver
reason Larry didn't win that game is because Antonio Holmes magically put both feet down. Magically.
Somehow, right?
I still think one of his foot was on top of the other.
That was my favorite
I
end to a
still
Super Bowl, by
say
the
that
way.
to this day.
Yes. Okay, but John, give me who's your number 1 receiver
All
in
right,
the league?
so real quick, I gotta make a little timeout real quick. Okay,
Okay.
so I realized I didn't put Jones on this list, so I'm gonna take and make Adam Thielen at number 5 an honorable mention and put Jones there. And then at number 1, I couldn't make the decision, dude. I got Antonio Brown / Odell Beckham Jr. number
Okay.
1. Like how do you?
So it's a lot of cop outs.
Yeah,
It's a lot of cop outs on
hey
your
man,
list. It's
yeah,
okay.
maybe.
Don't
Hey,
worry.
but
Stephon
then,
Diggs is 6 for me. So
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Who's your 6?
My honorable,
Who your
my
six,
honorable
Billy?
mention, is the fam, Des Bryant. I still rock with you, fam. I still rock with you.
Hey, Billy, I will end this call if you ever mention Dez
R.I.P.
Bryant on my
Dez Bryant.
podcast as a top 6 receiver in the
Honorable
NFL.
mention is Des Bryant.
It wasn't a catch.
It definitely wasn't. Billy is going to cuss us out the rest of this podcast because he feels that it was a catch and it wasn't a
Clearly
catch.
a catch. He put in a catching motion. He put in a running motion. Everything.
Really, he's not even on the team, Billy.
We getting there.
Hey, he didn't put him at number 6. He did say honorable mention. He just wanted to throw him out there.
That's shout out to 88.
R.I.P. Des Bryant.
Moving along.
So what do you think about them trying to shorten up the preseason? Possibly.
I agree with it.
But I'm
Now,
not adding 2 games to the end of the season.
it's two sides of that coin because you know those players that's on the bubble.
Yes.
I believe they need that, that extra preseason game. But as far as in those vets, they're probably thinking a different way. Like, Ezekiel Elliott's saying, I don't need no preseason game, Sam. I'm going to lead the league in rushing regardless. But some guy on the bubble is probably saying, I need that preseason game to, so I can have a job this fall. So, it's both ways. Do you believe they add an extra 2 games that we're going to get the best effort in those extra 2 games?
No.
It depends on how the playoffs are shaking out. Some teams probably not. But you don't get the best effort
right.
from teams that aren't going to make it anyways in those last 2 games. So
Dude,
it's
I
just a
feel
matter
like
of
every Thursday night game I watch is kind of trash.
Most definitely. I'm not taking away 2 preseason games and adding 2 games at the end of the season because my body is already dead enough. So if you add 2 more games to my season, I'm not going to have anything left for the playoffs, let alone the teams that have to go, in the offseason after week 18? No.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel you on that.
That means the season doesn't end till the middle of February, beginning of March?
I don't like that at all.
What?
Yep.
That's terrible.
But guess what that means?
Now,
more,
where have you
more
put
money?
the season up?
football. More football.
But at what cost is it? I love the game. You know what I'm saying? I love the game. I understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
So you're not going to put that person in that body for 16 weeks, then tell me I got another 2 games because you didn't want me to play the first 2 games at the beginning of the season. That's not logically okay. Just because you feel like you can make more money in a regular season game than a preseason game, and it's more beneficial to your pockets and not my body. Not because you got to think, in 2 of those games, the first game and the last game, starters don't play. They play a quarter in the second game. They play half of the third game, and then they sit down. So now instead of you doing that for your starters, the people that generate your money, now we're going to add 2 games to the end of the season. In a league where contracts aren't guaranteed.
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
So it doesn't matter if you raise the money that I'm getting that season. If I get hurt week 14, that means I miss 15, 16, 17, and 18 and 19. Because it's not going to be just an 18-week season. It's a 19 at least because of all the bye weeks.
Yep.
Which just makes it harder. That means you're playing regular season all the way until January. Who wants to see that?
So what if you're the Patriots and you know how they lock up the division early?
Yeah.
Do you rest Tom Brady for those 2 last games since you locked the division up so early?
He's going to be rusty as hell. And maybe not him because, he does this. Like, that's what he does. But some teams that's going to eat them alive.
For somebody else like Dak, say the Cowboys wrap up the division early. Do you rest Dak those last 2 games? Rest Dak and Zeke those last 2 games?
I'm not doing it. Not 2 games. I'll do 1, not 2. Because that's too long.
And plus, if you got a bye, that's 3 weeks without football.
Exactly. I don't like the idea at all. Not one bit.
See, at first when we started this conversation, I was swaying to the other side. I was swaying. I even said it. I'd take off the 2 preseason games, put it on it. But you convinced me. It's all about the player, in my opinion. Like, if you're not going to give them guaranteed contracts, you're right. I didn't think about that. If you're not going to give them guaranteed contracts, you can't ask them to play these extra 2 games.
I get it. Now, yes, if you want to knock just the 2 preseason games off, that's fine. Like the Rams GM said he doesn't expect Todd Gurley to play in the preseason. He probably doesn't need it.
A lot of the superstars don't play much in the preseason anyway, so take away those 2 games.
You don't need that wear on your body. But like Billy said, players 50 through 53 on the roster, those people that get cut on the last cut,
they need it.
The ones that make the practice squad, those guys need those games. I need in live action reps because if I don't play here, but I do play the preseason, okay, now I got film. The XFL comes in 2020. Now I have something to show them.
So do you just leave it the way it is, or do you have another idea you want to bring to the table?
You leave it the way it is.
Exactly.
Anything, expand the playoffs. But don't tell me I have a longer season, pay me the same amount of money. Don't guarantee my contracts because at any point when I get hurt, you're out of this.
So what about just shortening keep the season the same length, shorten the preseason to 2 or 3 games?
At least take away one of them.
I was going to say 3's perfect. You can still play, the first quarter and then the first half of game 2, and then just sit them out 3 and then start the season going forward.
But they're so money hungry. That's why you have the Hall of Fame game, who's a week before everybody else. So we got 6 weeks of preseason, basically. Then turn around and go into the league. You got 17 weeks, but they tell you it's a 16-game season. It's all about money. But don't add to my season. Don't add to the stress on my body. Yes, I know I signed up for it. But guarantee more money. Make sure them last 2 games that you added on, because all our contracts are for 16 games a year. So you adding 2 games into the season, my contract only covers 16. So now what? Do you give me triple the amount of money that I would
It's
make.
volunteer work,
I
man.
believe they would have to revise that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's going to take too long. It's 53 players on the roster. There's 32 teams in the league. How much paperwork is that? Nobody's doing that much paperwork. It's just something I wouldn't do. It's not right now. The new collective bargaining agreement comes up. We can have this discussion. We can talk about if you're going to take away these games, what that means for us. We can argue for guaranteed contracts. But don't do that in the middle of just a whim of all-season talks. And now I have to think about, if I have to go to 18 games, my body might not fail. Me and Billy just brought up last week the rookie wall. Everybody's hitting the wall in week 18 because you got to think those teams that haven't been to the playoffs. Now all of a sudden I got 2 more games to get ready for. What?
It'd probably be more interesting to see a playoff run if you add those extra 2 games.
You want the
Because
playoffs longer?
Teams like you don't expect to say like a team like San Fran, somebody that's on the cusp of being decent but not there yet.
Okay, I get what you're saying. But now let's see. I was bringing this up. We'll do just the Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard goes back as the Michigan coach. Obviously, he was part of the Fab Five, NBA champion. They went to the finals 3 times. He did everything he could as far as his playing career. Now he goes back, has the press conference at the University of Michigan, his alma mater. He's the head coach. He's crying. I don't know if you noticed it, Billy, because you obviously noticed it because you are a LeBron fan. You seen him at the end of y'all benches. A lot of the teams LeBron was a part of. So you knew he was in suits. He was basically preparing himself to become a coach. What is the one job that you want within America that'll be similar to this situation? Like for me, something that I always, wherever I want to, like, don't get me wrong, I love PV. I would coach at PV. I would be the head coach at PV and turn them around and turn them into a HBCU dynasty. That's fine. But before I went to school at PV, I was an OU fan. I'm an OU fan. My dad went to OU. That's just what's in me. So if I had a coaching opportunity, I'm going to go coach at OU. That's going to be what I would sit on this podium and cry about because that's something that I always thought about. That's something I always dreamed of is coaching there. What's somewhere where you would coach where that type of emotion would be displayed?
Somewhere I would coach will probably be either Alabama or somewhere in the Big Ten. I just loved I love the SEC, but I love the Big Ten also. So if I'm not coaching Alabama, there'll have to be a team in the Big Ten.
The Big Ten?
Yes. Like
that is the most
Ohio
boring
State.
football in America outside of Ohio State.
Yeah, you notice I said Ohio State.
John, you going to tell me your team?
Man, I don't know. I guess I would represent Houston, U of H.
You'll go
If
to
I had
U of
an
H?
opportunity, yeah, I would definitely rep U of H for real. Like I don't have an allegiance to any other college. Like I didn't necessarily go to college, but U of H is who I watch. I root for U of H, so I would rep U of H.
And as a small caveat, I would also wouldn't mind coaching at Dallas Carter just to bring them back to the promised land.
I feel you.
Dallas Carter.
That's where Billy went for a little minute.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
He in Dallas right now. Okay. Well, that'll be all for us. Obviously, we picking the Warriors to win tonight, go to Game 7, win Game 7. John thinks that the Raptors are going to finish it tonight. That's not going to happen.
Yep.
That's the reason why
Jurassic Park gonna be in full effect tonight. Watch Drake drop a whole album tonight.
He probably already had one made.
He definitely did.
Probably.
But all right. You can do
Add
your
me on Twitter at BillWilson52. That's BIL Wilson52. That's Twitter and Instagram.
All right. I'm John. You can add me at Twitter at JAYDUB_fire, JDub_fire. I don't have an Instagram.
I'm Zach is great. This is the Zach Knows Podcast, and we out.